everybody, it's Jenny, and in this video we're going to talk about all the tools that you need to make a quilt. We're going to start with our sewing machine. To make a quilt, people often ask me, what sewing machine do I need? Really what you need is one that runs. You just need a good straight stitch, and so whatever you have will work. You don't need a special kind, you just need a sewing machine that runs. Now you can sew it by hand, but that would make me a little crazy, so a good sewing machine that runs. The next thing we're going to talk about is the cutting mat, because we now cut with rotary cutters. You know, in the old days they used scissors for everything, and we have specialty rotary cutters now that you can use, and it makes it so much faster. But you're going to need a mat, because here's our rotary cutter right here, and if we were actually to cut this on a wood surface or something like that, it would gouge it and make and ruin your blade really fast. So you need a cutting mat. And now we're on to our rotary cutter. The rotary cutter has a little blade right in the middle of it like this. This happens to be my favorite rotary cutter because you can use it with either hand. They come in different colors, but if you're right-handed or left-handed, it works for you. My other favorite thing is the blade change. On some of the rotary cutters, if you need to change your blade, which you will if you do a lot of cutting, you have to unscrew it and take it off, and it just feels a little more cumbersome. With this rotary cutter right here, you just pull back this lever like this, remove that blade, put your new blade on, stick this right back through the hole, and snap it again. And it's very safe and goes together really quick and easy. So this is my favorite rotary blade. You're going to need a seam ripper because, let's face it, we're all going to make mistakes. So this is a seam ripper right here. And when I'm talking about these things, it's like the sewing machine, the mats, everything. There are just tons of these out there, and you just want to get what is going to make sense in your brain and works for you. This little seam ripper right here, what you're going to do is you're going to slide this little end piece under the stitch you take and just pop that stitch, and it will easily help you take apart if you made a little boo-boo. So you're also going to need thread. We like cotton thread for our quilting. The cotton material and the cotton thread goes together well. And I generally sew, I have a light thread and a dark thread. When I'm quilting, I don't match my thread to the color of the fabric. I actually just use a light or dark thread. We're going to also need some scissors, because you will still need scissors. We just won't use them for the bulk of our cutting. And a good pair of scissors is a must, because there's nothing more frustrating than trying to cut something and having it fold or, not make a good cut. You'll probably need some pins. And I have, as I've gotten older, if I have these longer pins or a pin with a bigger head, it's very helpful to me to be able to pick them up, as your hands don't grasp those tiny little things so well. Also, if you don't want to use pins, or if you, in addition to pins, you can use these little clips. We have these awesome little Wonder clips, and they just grab and hold things together so easily, and they're just, it's these kind of things where you can see where quilting is moving forward. Now, I want to talk for a little minute about rulers. These are our rulers right here, and they are made specifically for the pre-cuts. There are loads of rulers out there, and I discovered something very important. If you have a ruler and there's so much going on that you have a hard time finding your numbers, or you have to put painter's tape or draw a line, it is not a great ruler for your brain. Take a look at your rulers, because they come in squares, they come in all different size squares, they come in different lengths, all different ones, and just choose one that works really well with your brain. Let me show you how this one works for me, because this is really cool. So because this is made for the charm pack, you can lay this right on the edge. Our charm pack is 5 inches. The ruler is 2.5. So I don't even have to look over. I just lay it on the edge, and I can cut this right in half if I'm going to make, little squares or a little strip, and it's just so easy. Also, if I'm going to cut that block diagonally, it's going to go corner to corner, and it's not a huge big ruler that's going to get in my way. So now let's talk about our bigger ruler. Our bigger ruler is also set up to work with the pre-cuts. So this is a 10-inch square right here. And again, our ruler is 5 inches. It's half of that. And we are going to cut right down the middle here. And we don't even have to measure it, because we just lay it along the side. It works both ways, and it also works diagonally. So let me show you how we use our rotary cutter to cut this. So when you use a rotary cutter, I'm going to cut a 2.5-inch strip right here from the edge of my square. And you're going to take and put your thumb on this little button right here and pull back. That opens up the blade. When you're using the rotary cutter, whenever you're done using it, you want to make sure that you slide that down and close that blade. Don't forget this, because if you knock it off and it hits your foot, it is going to cut. It's a razor blade. And so we're going to slide this back, and then we're going to hold this. Now, when I hold my ruler, I put half my hand on the ruler and half on the mat, because I really want it to be steady. You can't just lay this here and cut, because the rotary cutter will push it off. So you want to put your hand on the ruler, half on, half off, and let's start from this edge right here. Now you see my fingers here pushing down, and you want to have good leverage like this to cut. And we're just going to make sure that our blade is right next to that ruler, and we're just going to slowly cut. You'll want to practice this a few times so that you get really good at making good cuts. Because if you have good cuts, you're going to have good seams, and good seams make perfect blocks. So in the next video, we're going to talk about stitching. We're going to start putting those quilts together.